Hello and welcome to Glide by PrepEve. After helping you guys out with the Duolingo test, we are here to help you out with the IELTS academic test as well. So Duolingo has helped you in getting your offer letter and your admission in your respective universities and colleges. However, for the visa application, you need the IELTS academic, and so here we are to help you out for the same purpose. Now, I'm going to discuss some of the problems and subsequent tips related to the academic test. Apart from that, here is a certificate which shows that I am an IELTS certified trainer by the British Council. So whatever is coming from this source is absolutely authentic and you would not be misguided as the other YouTube channels. So let's go ahead and have a look at the next slide. Fine, so I guess you guys are aware of the basics of the IELTS test. There are 4 modules or 4 skill sets on which you are assessed. The first one is your listening test, second is your reading, third one is your writing, and the fourth one is your speaking test. So they'll be assessing you on all these 4 skill set. So we'll start with the first one, which is the listening test. These are conducted in the same order as shown in this PPT. So first test of your day is your listening test, and these are the common problem areas that a lot of students face while taking the listening test. First of all, understanding different accents. So we all understand that there are different accents from Canadian, American, British, Australian, right? So the IELTS test, the audio that you listen in the listening test would cover all the various accents, and you should be acquainted with each of them. So to understand different accents, it's important that you listen to a lot of podcasts, news interviews. You can follow the BBC channel because there are people from different origins that come there and give their interview, so that you will be able to grasp each and every accent while you watch or listen to such podcasts and news channels. Next problem that a lot of students face is keeping pace with the speed of the audio. So if you're not comfortable with the speed at which the audio plays, you need to adapt to the speed, because you cannot slow it down, neither can you, ask them to play it again. It is played once and you have to find out the answer there and then simultaneously. So to increase your speed or to understand the speed at which the audio is played, you need to listen to a lot of English, and the same options that we use for the first one are applied here as well. Next is lack of focus. So if you miss out on one sentence in the audio, chances are you might miss out on one answer as well. So to avoid that from happening, what we will be doing is that we'll be meditating for 10 to 15 minutes every day in the morning, so that our attention span increases and we are in a position to listen better and understand what the entire audio or the conversation in the audio is talking about. Last but not the least is your different types of questions, in which MCQs and the map based questions scare the students the most. So instead of getting scared or being afraid of these kinds of questions, the better strategy is to understand why you're going wrong in these questions. What are you missing out on? What are your problem areas? And once you have understood your problem areas, work on them. So we'll be giving you the strategies for the same, and you just have to implement those strategies and your band scores will definitely increase. So this is all about your listening test. Next is your reading test. So once you're done with your listening test, which is for about 30 minutes, the next test that we have on the very same day is your reading test, which is for 1 hour. So the time limit is 1 hour and you have to complete 3 passages here in 1 hour. So time management is of utmost importance. Time management. Alright, so you have 1 hour to complete 40 questions. You have to read really fast. You can't read slowly. And for this, I have an amazing solution for you. Right now, after you've watched the complete video, go to this website, qprompter.com. This is a website which will help you in learning how to read fast. So all you have to do is go to this website and copy paste some of the reading passages into the box that is given to you, and then set the speed at which you want to read the particular passage, and accordingly the speed will be there and the prompter would show you the sentences at that speed so that you can learn to read faster. For time management, the suggestion is that you start with the last passage, passage 3, then you go to the second one, and then ultimately you go to the first passage, because the difficulty level increases from the first to the last passage. So if you begin with the most difficult passage and then you move backwards, it will be easier for you to manage your time. Apart from that, of course, speed reading is something that is really important, and for that I have given you one of the most important solutions. Next up is lack of vocabulary. So a lot of times we struggle with understanding what the passage is saying because we don't have enough vocabulary to understand what the passage is talking about. So what we have to do is we have to read for at least 20 minutes every day. Another disclaimer that I want to give here is that it's not necessary to understand each and every word in the passage. Even if I take the test, I might not be able to understand 3 to 5 words in every passage, which is fine, it's okay. There's no big deal. But what is important is you understand the entire context of the passage. What is the entire passage trying to say, or what are the 2-3 sentences trying to say, instead of understanding each and every word of the sentence or of the passage. Last but not the least here, unable to comprehend the meaning of the question. So it's very important to understand what is the question asking you to do. Is the question asking you to answer true, false, not given? Are they asking you to fill up? What is the question asking you to do? And to understand it clearly, you need to underline the keywords. This is very, very important. Underline the keywords, think about the synonyms and the paraphrased versions of the question and look for them in your passage. So these are some of the tips for your reading test. Next up is writing. Once you're done with your reading test, we have 1 hour of writing test, which includes 2 tasks, task 1 and task 2. Task 1 is report writing and task 2 is essay writing. So you get about 20 minutes for task 1 and 40 minutes for task 2. Here the commonly dreaded areas are lack of ideas. So a lot of times students just go blank and have no idea what to write on the sheet of paper. So here we will be having a lot of brainstorming sessions during our course. So this will be sorted out with the brainstorming sessions, the group discussions with other students, so that you can understand the perspective of another student and grasp that and use their ideas as your own ideas in the essays. So this is one thing. Then insufficient vocabulary. Yet again, if you don't have proper vocabulary, your scores in the lexical resource parameter would drop. So for that, we will be training you in the usage of synonyms and how to paraphrase your question so that you don't repeat yourself a lot. Next is inability to logically sequence ideas. Here we will help you in inculcating clarity of thought. आप कहना क्या चाहते हो? What is your agenda? What are you trying to convey? That's very important. If you don't have logical sequencing of ideas, if your ideas are very haphazard and they're haywire, they're not making sense, in that case, what happens is that when the examiner is reading your essay or reading your report writing, they will not be able to understand what you're saying. And that will lead to a lower PAN score. Next is not responding to what the question is asking. This is very important for your task response parameter. This one covers your cohesion and coherence to a certain extent. This one would cover your lexical resource parameter, and this one also is kind of between TR and LR. Okay, so not responding to what the question is asking. At times the question has 3 parts or 2 parts, and it becomes mandatory for you to pick on each part and talk about each of the parts and elaborate about them properly. So here you need to cover all tasks, and we will be training you to understand how each and every part needs to be covered, how we can talk about each and every part, support it with our ideas and examples, and explain and elaborate them properly to gain more band score. Alright, and the last test is your speaking test. It's usually conducted on a different day from your LRW, but in certain cases, in case you're taking the computerized test, it can also be conducted on the same day. So what are the problem areas that I have noticed students facing in the speaking test? The first one is lack of fluency. So here the problem is of fumbling, of not being able to find ideas, and also searching for words. You don't have the vocabulary to basically say your ideas or put forth your ideas. So the solution here is to practice without hesitation. A lot of us practice by keeping in mind the fact that I will not be able to do it. So instead of getting that negative approach, it's important that you stop hesitating. Don't think that you will not be able to do it. Have a positive mindset, and then try to speak in English as much as you can with your friends, with your family members, so that you do not fumble in the end while you're taking the actual test. Next is repetitive vocabulary. Here again the same rule that we have applied for writing will be used. We'll be helping you out with synonyms, topic specific vocabulary. If the question is about food, we'll tell you how to use different words like cuisines, delicious, scrumptious, and you can also talk about taste, mouth-watering, presentation, and all of that. Aroma is another word that's topic specific and related to food. Paraphrasing again is going to help you out in not repeating your words. Insufficient content to speak. A lot of times we go blank and we struggle in getting hold of the words or conveying our point of view. For that, if you come across something that's very strange, or that has or some topic that you have no idea about, what you can do is you can try to talk about the past, the present, and the future. So if you apply this technique, you will have at least 3 sentences to speak about. One sentence can talk about the past, something related to that topic that happened in the past, something that's happening in the present, and something that will happen in the future. So this will help you in at least saying 3 sentences. Okay, whatever. Incorrect pronunciation. So if you're aware of the fact that you're mispronouncing a word, then all you have to do is Google that word, listen to it at least 3 times every day for 1 week. And if you listen to it 3 times and repeat it after the Google says it, so you will be able to understand the different kinds of syllables used in that particular word. So it's important that you inculcate this habit of searching for the words that you're unsure about or you think you will be mispronouncing. So this is all about the speaking test, and now I would like to tell you how we can help you out in your preparation for the IELTS academic test. So we are launching IELTS Academic Super 50. So the Super 50 batch would have only 50 students, the serious students who are targeting a minimum of 6.5 band scores. So when I say a minimum of 6.5 band score, it means even if you're aiming for 7 or 7.5, you can enroll into this batch. So you will notice guaranteed improvement in your scores, be it your reading, writing, listening, or speaking. Apart from that, these are live classes which will happen in a group, of course, and we'll be offering you 96 practice tests so that you have sufficient amount of material to practice and gain confidence. And we'll be giving you 2 speaking mock tests. These will be 1-to-1, just like the real life IELTS test. In the real life IELTS, in the real life speaking IELTS test, what they do is the examiner is asking you questions, you have to answer, and then they'll be grading you. Similarly here, The trainer would be asking you questions, you have to answer to them, and in the end the trainer will be giving you your evaluation and feedback based on the 4 parameters, which include fluency and coherence, pronunciation, lexical resources, and your grammatical range and accuracy. So it's going to be a very feedback oriented batch, so that whatever your mistakes are, you will be able to rectify them. And we'll be giving you study material that is shared by the British Council themselves. So it's the most authentic material and you can trust us on that. And we'll also be giving you one secret, which is the IELTS examiner's checklist. So this is not for the public, but we'll be helping you out in understanding what the examiner is looking for when they're checking your answers, be it your speaking or writing. वो देख क्या रहे हैं, what are they wanting out of you? We'll be looking into that and we'll be telling you about the examiner's checklist so that you can improve yourself in these parameters or whatever is mentioned in this checklist. Apart from that, it is just for $3999 if you enroll right now within 24 hours. Otherwise, the cost would bounce back to its original price, which is $5999. And for any other information, you can call on the numbers given below and get in touch with us. We'll be starting this batch from the 1st of September. Thank you so much.